Have you ever wondered how a single act of kindness could change your life forever? What if helping just one stranger could unlock a future you never imagined? Today, I'm going to tell you a story that will warm your heart, inspire your soul, and remind you that hope still lives in the simplest moments. It was a chilly autumn morning at a bustling international airport, the kind where the hum of rolling suitcases and distant announcements fill the air like a steady heartbeat. Among the sea of travelers rushing to their gates, there was a young woman named Emily. She wasn't wealthy or famous, just an ordinary waitress from a small town, carrying nothing more than a modest bag and a heart full of empathy. Emily was on her way to visit her sister for the weekend. She loved airports not because of the fancy planes or exotic destinations, but because they were full of stories. Stories of reunions, goodbyes, and sometimes unexpected connections. On this particular morning, her gentle eyes caught sight of a man sitting alone by gate 42, struggling with a heavy suitcase that had a ripped handle and a wallet that looked worn and faded. The man seemed nervous, frequently checking his phone and wiping his brow. He was middle-aged, dressed plainly but neatly, with kind eyes shadowed by stress. Emily felt a tug in her chest, a quiet whisper saying, "He needs help." Without hesitation, she walked over and said softly, "Hey, do you need a hand with that?" The man looked up, surprised but grateful. "Yes, thank you. This suitcase has been giving me trouble all morning." As they managed to lift the heavy bag together, Emily noticed something unusual, an old photo sticking out from his jacket pocket. It showed a young girl smiling brightly, and behind her, what looked like a private jet. Curious but respectful, Emily didn't ask. Instead, she simply smiled and said, "Traveling alone can be tough sometimes. Are you headed somewhere special?" The man hesitated, then with a sigh said, "I'm going to a conference, but I've been under a lot of pressure. I lost my wife last year, and this trip, it's been difficult." His voice cracked just slightly. Emily's heart clenched. Here was a stranger, carrying more than just a suitcase. He carried pain, loss, and loneliness. Without a word, she gently reached out and squeezed his shoulder. "I'm so sorry for your loss. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here." For a moment, the airport noise faded into the background. The man's eyes softened, and he nodded. Emily stayed with him as the boarding call echoed, sharing a quiet conversation that blended memories of grief with small sparks of hope. Just then, an airport staff member approached, announcing that the man's flight was delayed indefinitely due to mechanical issues. Anxiety crept back into his eyes. "I don't know what I'll do now," he said. "This trip is important and I can't afford to miss it." Emily glanced around the crowded gate, then smiled gently. "Come with me. I know a quiet cafe nearby where you can relax and maybe catch up on some work while we wait." What happened next surprised them both. In that small, cozy cafe, they shared stories over steaming cups of coffee. Emily about her simple dreams and hard work, the man about his late wife and his hopes for the future. Kindness flowed freely between two strangers, healing wounds that neither expected to touch that day. Hours passed, and finally the man's phone rang. His face lit up with disbelief. "My private jet is ready. They fixed the problem much faster than expected," he said, almost in disbelief. He looked at Emily and said, "You know, you reminded me today what kindness means. I want to repay you for your generosity." Emily laughed softly, waving him off. "No repayment needed. I just did what anyone would." But he insisted, "Please, come with me to the private jet. It's the least I can do." Can you imagine walking through that airport again, but this time being escorted to a sleek, gleaming private jet instead of a crowded commercial flight? Emily's heart raced, not out of fear, but from the wonder of the unexpected. As she boarded the jet beside him, she realized that sometimes kindness isn't about grand gestures or expensive gifts. It's about noticing the person next to you, offering a hand when they're down, and believing that hope can be found in the smallest acts. That flight wasn't just a trip across the country. It was a journey from loneliness to connection, from grief to hope, from ordinary to extraordinary, and here's the thing, that man, he was a successful entrepreneur who had lost his way, blinded by pain. But meeting Emily, his faith in humanity was restored. And for Emily, that day opened doors she never dreamed existed. If you ever feel like your kindness doesn't matter, remember Emily's story. Because every time you reach out, you create ripples that can change lives, sometimes your own included. So, what about you? Have you ever experienced a moment when a simple act of kindness changed everything? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear it. And if this story touched your heart, please like and subscribe for more inspiring stories that remind us all of the power we hold in our everyday lives. Before you go, check out the next video where we'll hear about another incredible journey, sparked by one unexpected act of hope. Until then, stay kind, stay hopeful, and never underestimate the difference you can make.